Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to do a therapy session. I already vented about how I had little frustrations going on this morning on the other phone. It's going to take a long time to upload. You probably won't see that today, and that's fine. This video, I did a little praying about some things because I hadn't had a chance to talk about what's going on in Gaza in almost a week. All the different things I had going on in my life. I've been paying attention to it, but not necessarily talking about it on the channel. And this is the video I wanted to just vent a little bit about what I've been seeing over the last week. It's been awful, man. This was not the week to not talk if you're on this side of things. So a lot of people have lost their lives in that genocide, man. A lot of people lost their lives as of the entire 2 years, but specifically over the last week, and the stuff that they've been doing to these people, as I've mentioned many times, is creative. Israel's very creative in their cruelty. They're artists, they're cruel artists. They come up with new ways to do horrible things to these people, to make their lives end in the most horrific ways, to make them suffer. That hatred and the deep entitlement to impose suffering as if they're going to get trophies for pushing out suffering on these people. It's rather unique. A Zionist hatred is it's a unique hatred, man. So what I've been hearing lately is they bombed a cafe yesterday morning, I believe it was, maybe the day before, I'm not really sure, but they bombed a cafe. It was nothing but artists, man. People who do art, people who write screenplays and stuff like that. A few people who are in the industry as it pertains to press people, you know, civilians, like real civilians, not Hamas, not people who have any arms or training or anything like that. They weren't hurting those people. They were hurting artists, people sitting in a cafe just sharing their art or whatever they were doing. They bombed that, blew it up, everybody in there gone. And I think actually there might have been a few survivors, but not many. I saw the art piece of one lady. She drew a piece of someone who had been martyred in a bomb, and their head was cocked at a certain way, and they were laid out like this with blood all over their face. And sure enough, they showed her after she was martyred in that same position as the painting that she drew. Art imitates life in the worst way. It's demonic in every way. Rest in peace to her and everyone who lost their lives in that situation. So that stood out. And then you saw charred children. It's a man who was holding this baby who was charred, completely gone, probably 2 years old, infant, fully burnt to a crisp in a man's arms. You see more footage, another different situation where a little girl, she was still alive, but her leg had been blown half off by the bomb that was dropped, and she was in excruciating pain, and you could see the screams and stuff. She had to be about 4 years old, 5 years old. You see the leg, you know, lean in, needs to be amputated. Obviously there's no way to salvage that leg. And she was in, you know, no anesthesia, so she's going through the real life pain and trauma of that. Leg hanging, dad carrying her to wherever they were treating her. The screams, the horror, the gruesomeness, the excruciating pain that she was going through. And you see another situation where it was said that Israel placed drugs, methamphetamines or some type of hallucinogen drug in the flour that they have for these people. Flour that they make them wait in line for hours while shooting at these people at the same time to get to. You know, that's what they've been doing, is literally shooting at people standing in line waiting for food, because of course Israel's going to do that. Of course this is acceptable for the Jews toward the Palestinian people, right? And it's like, why wouldn't they put them through the most ridiculous amount of trauma? What amount of hatred is enough? There is none, right? piling on. If you can come up with something creative, they'll do it to them. Like that's what they're doing. And so from what I understand, they've been putting drugs in these people's flour. So when they cook with it, they're getting high and they become disoriented. So it's easier to kill them. It's easier, you know, they can't hide, they can't run, they can't do nothing but just kind of just be in a stupor, and they end up killing these people off because they have no defense against that for which is put in their bodies unjustly. Not to mention that they are being placed in a space where they're addicted to these drugs without actually knowing what the hell is in there. So they're likely going through unnecessary withdrawals because they're not getting read up on the drugs that ultimately are being put in their bodies without them actually knowing it in a lot of cases, until they get high off of it. And they don't know what the hell is making them dizzy, what type of spell is on them, when actually people are just drugging the things that they put in them. Put in their food. These people are starving, they're giving this stuff to their children. They're giving this stuff to their elderly. And it has drugs in it. Hallucinogens. Given it in by the IDF. And I think they were putting hallucinant drugs in flour and something else as well. It wasn't just flour, but they put it in something else too that these people were ingesting, so that they get high enough to not be able to defend themselves or protect themselves or run from what's going on to them. I just want people to understand, like, the level of cruelty that these people feel entitled to to impose upon these people is nothing short of demonic. You gotta know this. When you do deals with the Zionists, when you do deal with these type of Jewish people, you need to understand what it is they actually are doing. You need to know what they really are about, man. That's why I speak the way I do. Because I think a lot of people think this is not nearly as bad as it is. But what I'm telling you is these are creative people. And this is not the first time I've said this. But they're very creative artists when it comes to inflicting pain on people. They are strange in that way, man. And we need to understand this as we go forward, allowing these people to control whatever they control or yield into whatever power they have, because I don't think a lot of people really understand that. They don't get that part, or maybe they do, and that's what keeps them fearful of these people. I don't know. But as long as you allow people like this to truly control your globe, you're going to be at the mercy of whatever it is they're coming up with to hurt people eventually. If you ever get on their bad side, or you ever get to a point where you're just not submitting to them the way they want you to, you're going to face the creativity of their suffering practices and what they push forward on people in order for them to suffer. And so these are the things that just, for me, it's like what you would say common sense is, why would you want to get on their bad side? Already on their bad side, I'm black. And I'm aware of my own worth. I'm already their enemy. I ain't got to do nothing. They hate me off the strength of my skin. You feel me? And quite honestly, I understand that this is my only real defense. Not to mention that it's not self-preservation that's driving me. It's the preservation of those who can't protect themselves. That's not what drives me. It's my own mortality or whatever. That's what drives them. It's the idea that their mortality is at risk and that this is going to save them from something or whatever. I don't know if they believe that or not. I'm not really sure. But that's what they want us to believe they believe. I just understand these are terrorists, man. These are very uniquely gifted terrorists. They're good at what they do. If you give them credit for anything, it's that they're the most cruel people we've ever seen. Very cruel, man. And at this point, I look at all the people who enable them or speak on their behalf, and the rhetoric that they spew in order to justify what they do or bring credence to their cause. And I just say, this is the essence of what drives those people. This is what, I look at people that are by the balls by these people. I'm like, yo, they very much understand what I understand here, and they're still going along with this. People who will back their play for their own intentions. They're the worst people in the world, man. They deserve whatever the Lord is going to do there. And, I just want everybody to know where I stand each and every time I open my mouth. you know, because it's a lot of wickedness going on out here, but it's also a lot of people who understand it and are like me in the sense that we're not afraid to speak up on it. We don't got nothing to benefit from being quiet about it. We don't particularly find ourselves being able to stomach or sleep well at night without speaking up, man. And that's exactly the type of person I found myself to be. And so, you know, this genocide is ridiculous. It's unnecessary. It's cruel. It's demonic. It's all different types of undesirable energies. And the people who pay for it, the American people in the Western civilized society, deserves to know what truly is going on here. What's truly driving the people that are doing this to the Palestinian people. What they fear, what they're aiming for, who they pray to, the confusion they engage in, all of it. We need to be aware, and we need to be able to function in a world that they have a great deal of control in. But as I always tell you, God is real, and a lot of these people who have such a clamp or a stranglehold on the world are devoid of the understanding that they're not in control of what it is they think they behold. That there's more to what it is that they are involved in than just simply their intentions and whatever beliefs they ultimately have in their head. The scope that they engage in has them mistaken about how victorious they ultimately are destined to be. And your cruelty is not going to inspire the loyalty and the devotion that they ultimately think it does. They just so happen to have control of a world that's going to change rather swiftly as we go forward. It's going to change rather swiftly. And they are not the only cruel energy in the world. There's always a bigger and badder energy ready to come back and get you for what you've done. And that's what I know. The biggest, baddest, most cruel, powerful entity has to understand that there's always something more cruel. Always something more cruel than you. And that's what I want people to understand. There's always something more cruel than you. And so I just want people to understand this part of my existence. I've already been told by God that he has my back in so many different prayers and so many different ways about so many different things. So when I open my mouth and I speak against energy like this, I don't find myself fearful at all. I never have. So I've spoken to this camera many times about these people. I'll turn on this same camera and talk about one of my favorite interests. I don't harbor any conscience as it pertains to being careful around that energy. I'm not confused about my power in regards to it. I don't imagine it feels it needs to be careful around me or any type of delusion, but there's absolutely no way I'm going to continue to move in a direction where I allow for it to go unchecked with my voice. It's never going to happen. You don't get to kill children and terrorize innocent people just because you deem them not innocent because of some delusion that you engage in about yourself and your own mortality and what's at risk for you not engaging in the most ridiculous amounts of demonstrations. And so that's what I want people to understand, man. Understand me, but also understand who I serve. God has been very clear to me about his intentions toward not only myself, but the entire world. And if you are with him, he has your back. If you are against him, you've left yourself to be at the mercy of his enemy who holds no mercy for anyone. And every bit of the creativity that these energies that are engaging in this nonsense are engaging in comes from their enemy and his intention, his loser intention against the God I serve. And that's what I've come to believe and understand. This is war, and those people who engage in this ideology against the Palestinian people are just one tool of many tools used by the enemy to try to convert all of us into being worse for its presence. And that's what we need to try to guard against above many things that are possible, is us turning into a worse version of what we see here. You know, I pray for the Palestinian people every day. I pray for the end of white supremacy in every form, in every way, for which I think is what is ultimately at the crux of all of this, the layer that is on top of the devil itself is white supremacy in regards to this situation. And what his hope is to use the Jewish faith and the Jewish people as human shields as it continues to make itself as an undesirable representation of those people as humanly possible. And what they hope will happen is, in all of this cruelty and all of our feelings about this cruelty, what we'll ultimately do is look at those people and hate them as they try to blend in with those people, in hopes that we will turn into people that people hate in the reaction to the hatred that ultimately we see there. That we can hopefully start using all of our representative groups as human shields, engaging in the same back and forth that they're hoping to spark by engaging in such traumatic inducing and terroristic behavior. I, as a black person, take all my black people and start doing evil stuff toward people who don't deserve it, who happen to wear a yarmulke. And then from there, I'm just as bad. Now people got to do what they need to do to stop all of my people. And all of this is what it is about making it so that all of us hate one another, misrepresenting our various cultures and our various creeds, doing and engaging in devilish deeds just like they've done, and infiltrating the Jewish faith and doing these energies. And I tell you, man, it's the most important thing to fight against. When you see a child charred in his father's arms, or you hear a story about them blowing up a cafe, or you hear a story about them drugging people, or you hear a story about any of the energies that they've engaged in, the intention of the spirit behind what they're doing is so that you will turn to people that you do not know, that happen to wear the same hat they wear, so to speak, and blame them for the actions of those who've done it. Want to engage in mass punishment. That's what it hopes to inspire you to do by engaging in mass punishment against the Palestinian people. You, in response to that, will engage in mass punishment against the Jewish people, or white people, or anyone from Europe, or whatever it is they represent. But evil has no color, as my mother made very clear to me. And generalizing was something that my mother used to tell me to never do. Before I even understood much of anything, one of the most reverberated lessons that my mother constantly instilled in me is never generalize people. Never did I realize how important that lesson would be than in the view and the scope of what it is that I've grown to ultimately be passionate about. Had she not reinforced in me that there's good and evil in every group, I would most definitely be anti-Semitic at this point, the actual anti-Semitic, based on a blanketed understanding that they are all doing this to these people, when it's not what's happening there. That's not what's happening there. I want to send solidarity to the good Jewish people, though I ask that you do more. For those of you who are doing enough, God bless you, but there needs to be more done by those, because there's a lot being done in your name that is meant to make us hate you. Not just hate you, but be aggressive in our hatred. And there will be many people who weren't raised by the woman I was raised by, who are going to engage in that hatred, and they're going to convert themselves into being the same demons in different skin, wearing different hats. And we got to guard against that. We must guard against that. Because if we become as evil as those who are engaging in this behavior, as self-righteous in our aggressiveness, as creative and pouring as much of our creative energy into hurting people just like these people are, believe me, we will destroy our world. We'll make this place significantly worse for our children. We'll make this place significantly worse for our reputations going forward. We cannot win a war that way. Against evil, no matter what you've learned from the history books about war, no war has ever been won engaging in the same energy of the evil one. Never. There's always losers in that. It's always innocent people that end up getting the vitriol pointed at them that's supposed to go toward those who are engaging in bad energy. It's never those who are due that suffering that ultimately get that energy from people who are just onlookers watching as they are frustrated and traumatized by what they see. When you walk away from looking at a genocide and you commit to hurting somebody, you are more than likely to hurt somebody that doesn't deserve it. More than likely. And though your energy and your feelings may be valid, your violence will be misplaced most of the time. 9 out of 10 times you're going to attack somebody that doesn't deserve it. 9 out of 10 times you're going to go after somebody who didn't do anything to anybody. And you're going to be feeling justified because they look like something that they never were. And the enemy smiles every time you engage in that energy. The enemy rejoices and toasts to his own triumph every single time we engage in that energy. We must know that that is the bottom line of everything we're seeing. Conversion processes that make you worse than what you are and make you jaded in regards to anybody else being better than what you see. That is exactly what the enemy's trying to engage in every time he demonstrates through these evil individuals doing these evil things to innocent people. Cruelty is all about the conversion of those who are onlookers into worse versions of themselves than they ever would be without witnessing what they saw. Know this every time you see anything like this. It's meant to make you worse. It's meant to make you lash out within your trauma, within your disgust, in a way that turns you into the same thing you're disgusted by. Never lose sight of that till the day you die. It's all the devil's doing it for, man. It's all he's doing it for. And so that's what I want people to understand, man. I get frustrated, but this is chess, not checkers. We got to know how to play the game we're playing. We got to know how to win the war we're in. That's the key to all of this, man. You can't fight sin with sin. It doesn't work. And there's one more thing I want to say about these individuals. As we've said many times, it's now being confirmed to me. They have always looked to make money off of our weaknesses and our sin. They've always looked to use things that we find ourselves addicted to, like sex and drugs, and our own comfort and our ability to protect ourselves via weaponry and different things. They use all the things that we should not want, that we should otherwise discipline against, to make themselves wealthy. They have made a fortune out of our sins and our weaknesses and our lust and our need to have vices to get over the struggles of our lives, our racism, our bigotry, anything that weaponizes ourselves against others, are things that they're nestled in between, enabling themselves to be wealthy off of those things. The number one donor, this is important, the number one donor to the IDF is the guy who owns OnlyFans, everyone. So anytime you're pouring into OnlyFans, you are effectively funneling Israel and baby killers and creative terrorists who are backed by compromised governments in many countries. They're going to always benefit off your sin. If you discipline against your sin, they don't have many ways of making wealth. As long as you're self-indulgent and feeding your demons, they are right there to put a piggy bank at every one of those slots you place your coin. This is what you need to understand, Westerner. It's the same thing that was taught to all of us who were able to read what was presented to us by someone they told us to never trust. Osama bin Laden, the guy they said did the thing they did. He wrote something called A Letter to America, and I encourage everybody who's watching me to Google that now. Right after this video ends, Google it and witness the words. Because essentially, in so many ways, he was just telling you exactly what I'm telling you now. That these people were making money off of everything that makes us worse. Everything that we should not do. Everything in the Bible that the Lord told us not to do. They put themselves in a position to benefit from all of those things, which is why they control so much. They are merchants of sin. And when you consider how all the sin in the world makes so much money, pornography, black market pornography, various different things, gambling and all this different stuff, they find themselves in a space to create wealth from every one of those things. It's what they do because they know it's a fail-safe. Because as long as we're continuing to be weak, they will always have a way to make money. And the flesh is weak no matter who inhabits it. Every spirit has to overcome their flesh. So if you put a bank next to anything that otherwise feeds that flesh, you're going to always have money. And then from there, they control everything they need to control to assure that they reinforce a propaganda upon our heads to have us thinking in ways that keep them wealthy, that keep us in spaces where we don't believe in ourselves, keep us continuing to think we need to feed demons and pour poison into our bellies and various different things that we ultimately suffer from. When we think we want this stuff, they engage in the propaganda that makes us feel that way. And always have, which is why their money's so long. I read something, didn't fact check it, but it checks out spiritually. You tell me if it's true. These people, the Jews, and I can't separate them from the Akanyazi. I don't know if this is the real fake. I don't know. It's just the Jews. A lot of the anti-Semitism and a lot of the stuff that had them being casted out of different places, from what it is I read, was essentially them putting people in positions to not get what they needed and put it long ago. That's why people ultimately found themselves hurting them and hating them and casting them out of places and doing all types of evil stuff to them, because they would control the money and make sure that they penny pinch every single body. So they've been doing since the 1100s. Talking well before what it is that we're paying attention to, well before America was founded. Those same people who were engaging in this nonsense, their forefathers were penny pitching people left and right, inspiring the hatred that ultimately they say they can't stand. It was provoked. A lot of it was provoked. Just like the hatred that they're welcoming upon their people right now by engaging in genocide is provoked. It's the same thing they've been doing the whole time. Provoking people to hate them, and then from there crying victim as they stand back. So no, everybody's after us. No, you're provoking people. You're making people hate you. You're doing horrible things and keeping people from getting what they're supposed to be getting. Paying them one for two works. That type of stuff. They've been doing that since the beginning. And then they hide and cry victim. People come back and react that way to them. People run them out of stuff. People start slaughtering them and all that because they sick of being under their thumb with them inspiring that hatred by way of their creativity to draw from the resources of the working people. They've been a cancer the whole time. Since this thing has been up and civilized, they've been rigging governments, controlling financial markets, and paying people half of what they're worth and pocketing the rest. And then investing in the things that make people worse. So of course people gonna lash out at them. Of course people gonna want to slaughter them and do all types of stuff when they find out what it is they find out. Then what do? Use the resources that they have to tell the story that they were victims about what it is that happened there when they were provoking it the whole time. Devil worshippers, been devil worshippers the whole time. Working to make this world as evil as the Bible has told us it is the whole time. That's why they control so much of your government right now. They've always controlled everyone's government, even before this thing was founded. They found a lot of the stuff that we see here off of sin money and cheated money and stuff that we've been talking about the whole time. I'm just now seeing that it's written. Same stuff I've been telling you that I was feeling about these people. Stuff that the Lord was just kind of putting in my heart to say. I'm reading stuff, finding out all this stuff is written. It's exactly how they did it. It's how they've always done it. And it makes sense. You know why the Austrian painter did what he did? He wrote it somewhere. He said it somewhere. It's because they control the governments. They control financial systems, and they pay half or pay very little of what people are supposed to receive. They end up stirring up mess in between functions and factions that are already angry at one another. They end up weaponizing both of them so they can kill one another. This is why he did what he did. This is what inspired the hatred that he was engaging in when he did what he did. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what they're trying to welcome upon the Jewish people now. By standing behind them people and however they do it, and then making it so that we all are angry at them for stuff that they're doing in their name. Hoping to inspire another type of Holocaust or some type of evil shit like that. So it's so important the people of the Jewish faith understand and believe what I'm saying to say, you got a lot of work to do to protect yourself from what these people are inspiring in all of us by engaging in hatred while behaving and pretending they're you. They are of the devil, man. They are of Satan himself. They are the essence of what Revelations and all of that is about. It's about coming back to stop these individuals, more or less. It's what it's come to understand in my head. That's what I see it as. They don't stop them. Yeah, they killed Jesus. Yes. They've been doing dirt since before that. And they've been doing it the same way. It's always the same formula. It's always the same play. As I always tell you, the devil is not a creative. So it stands to reason why he's doing the same thing now that he's been doing the whole time. It's just that we're starting to get a whiff of it. That's all it is. We're just starting to understand it. A lot of the wickedness in this world has been strummed up by these people and their intentions, man. A lot of it. A shit ton of it, if I'm being honest with you. But the time for revealing all of the things that they've done for as long as they've done it, and their ways and their actions and their intentions and their plays, so to speak, all of that is being revealed in 25. We see it now. We know it's them. We know it's them the whole time. And they've done a lot of crime. They've done a lot of stuff to a lot of people, man. A lot of people are angry at them justifiably because they've provoked that energy within these people. Just about every people. Them and their cronies have either infiltrated those places or people stood up against them, governments that tried to stop them. They assassinated those leaders and inserted their own so that they can control the globe in every place where something's necessary to make things happen. They use the old money and the old power to continue to influence new power and new money in different directions. This is the fact of these people. They've been doing this. And I walk this earth understanding I'm already a victim to these folks. Just like the rest of us are. I would not walk in fear. They enslaved my ancestors. They destroyed my other ancestors. Took land from all the indigenous people. Painted us out to be horrible human beings. Projected their own evil and their own intentions onto our faces, onto our images, onto our reputations, unjustly in a lot of cases. They've been running this place the way the devil would want them to. And that's what I want people to know, that I know. I walk the earth alive today, understanding this fully, man. And I don't fear it. I'm not supposed to. I fear God and what happens when I don't speak on what it is I know. And that he's been reaffirming things that I've been saying just aligns me with the understanding that not only does he exist, but he's in me as I speak about these demons. He didn't wire me to be afraid of them at all. So I want y'all to know, we are not looking to convert ourselves into the demons that are coming at us. We are not looking to engage in energy that ultimately reaffirms that we're as bad as they lie about telling everyone we are. We are about the saving of all children, the saving of all innocent people, the right to determination for all human beings that look to stand in solidarity with others as they chase the same thing. We don't believe in nobody being better than nobody. I don't give a damn what it says in any book. I don't care who told you they're better than us or better. They are not better because they don't engage in better energy. They are of Satan, and everything they speak on is a lie. Everything. Just like that of whom they serve. They are in devilish confusion, and we don't engage in that. People of God, people of faith, regardless of the religion, if you serve a living God, the God of Abraham, the God of goodness, the God of saving people from the devil himself, you understand that we don't move in the confusion. We can stand in our truth and be confident in that. We don't have to lie or mold things to be what they're not, so that we can stand in our spaces and be confident in our skin. We don't have to lie about who we are. We don't have to be better than nobody else. I don't have to use what makes you weak to make me strong. I don't have to do any of that. God fulfills all of those needs in my life. God fulfills all of those voids in my life. God makes up for the power I don't have in my own individual space. My faith in God makes me all powerful, not my need to be great. And greatness comes with his choice to have made me great. I don't have to prove that to you. I don't have to take from nobody else to assure that I am. I don't have to mold the world to fit some ideology that only I agree with at this moment in order for myself to be able to stand in my strength. That's the blessing of being chosen by a living God. Not above anyone else, but aligned with everyone else. In the quest to be proven that we're better than everybody else, we end up being below everybody else. And that's what's been of the Zionists. They are not better than all of us. It's because they want to be better than all of us that they're worse. And all of their legacy and all of their works speak to the deterioration of innocence. Disgracing themselves, mucking in dirt, trying to make people worse so they can be first. Engaging in deadly behavior while believing themselves to be victims without any evidence of such. Confusion, weakness. Going on tirades against righteousness and standing up for righteousness. Using political factions to engage in that type of behavior toward people who stand up against the slaughtering of children and the suffering of innocent people. They are a disgrace to themselves and humanity as a whole. Bdf 44. I thank you all for watching. No.